July 1947, a small desert town in Roswell suddenly became the center of one of the greatest mysteries in human history. Newspapers screamed shocking headlines. RAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. Within hours, the story spread across America like wildfire. People believed the impossible had finally happened. A UFO, an alien spacecraft, maybe even visitors from another world, had crashed on Earth. But then, something strange happened. The U.S. military quickly changed the story. Suddenly, the flying saucer became nothing more than a weather balloon. Simple, ordinary, harmless, or at least, that's what the government wanted people to believe. But witnesses would later come forward with terrifying claims. Some said they saw strange metallic debris that could not be destroyed. Others claimed small non-human bodies were secretly recovered from the crash site. And over the decades, leaked documents, deathbed confessions, and classified military programs only made the mystery deeper. So what really happened in the deserts of New Mexico in 1947? Was Roswell just a misunderstanding? A top-secret military experiment? Or the greatest cover-up in modern history? Tonight, we uncover the full story. To understand Roswell, we first need to understand the world of 1947. World War II had ended only 2 years earlier. The United States had become one of the most powerful nations on Earth. But behind the celebrations, fear was growing. A new enemy was rising, the Soviet Union. This was the beginning of the Cold War. America feared surprise attacks, secret weapons, and nuclear war. Military technology was advancing faster than ever before. Radar systems, experimental aircraft, high-altitude surveillance, and classified weapons were all being developed in total secrecy. At the same time, something else was happening. People across America started reporting mysterious objects in the sky. Bright disks, strange lights, silent aircraft moving at impossible speeds. The modern UFO era had officially begun, and it all exploded after one famous sighting. On June 24, 1947, pilot Kenneth Arnold was flying near Mount Rainier in Washington state. Suddenly, he noticed something unusual. 9 shiny objects moving rapidly through the sky. Arnold later described them as moving like a saucer skipping across water. Newspapers misunderstood the description and created a brand new term: flying saucer. Within days, America became obsessed. Reports of strange objects flooded newspapers and military offices. People everywhere began looking toward the sky. And only 2 weeks later, something crashed near Roswell. Around early July 1947, a rancher named William Brazel was working on his ranch northwest of Roswell. After a powerful thunderstorm, Brazel discovered strange debris scattered across the land. At first he ignored it, but the material looked unusual. There were metallic sticks, rubber-like strips, foil-like sheets, and strange symbols printed on some pieces. According to later reports, the debris behaved unlike ordinary metal. Some witnesses claimed it could not burn, could not bend normally, and when crushed, it supposedly returned to its original shape. Brazel had never seen anything like it before. At first, he didn't think much about it, but after hearing national news about flying saucers, he began wondering if the debris might be connected. Eventually, Brazel reported the discovery to local authorities, and that decision would change history forever. Roswell was not just another small town. It was home to the famous Roswell Army Airfield. This base housed the 509th Bomb Group, the same military unit that dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki during World War II. This was one of the most secretive military groups in the world. When officers heard about the debris, they took the situation seriously. Major Jesse Marcel was sent to investigate the ranch. Marcel later claimed the material was unlike anything he had ever seen. And remember, this was not an ordinary soldier. Marcel was trained in identifying aircraft wreckage and military technology. If he believed something was unusual, people paid attention. Marcel collected debris from the ranch and brought it back to the base. Soon after, something shocking happened. On July 8, 1947, the military itself released a statement to the press. It claimed that personnel from Roswell Army Airfield had recovered a flying disc. The news exploded instantly. One newspaper headline became legendary: RAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. For a brief moment, the U.S. military appeared to confirm the existence of a UFO. America was stunned. People panicked. Radio stations spread the story nationwide. But within hours, everything changed. The military quickly reversed its statement. Officials now claimed the object was only a weather balloon. New photographs were released showing Major Jesse Marcel posing with balloon debris. Case closed, at least officially, but many people noticed strange inconsistencies. Why would trained military intelligence officers mistake a weather balloon for a flying saucer? Why did the military first announce the discovery publicly? And why did witness stories later contradict the official explanation? Over time, suspicions grew. Some believed the government had made a terrible mistake by announcing the crash too early. Others believed something far darker had happened, a cover-up. And according to later witnesses, the debris field wasn't even the most disturbing part, because some people claimed there was a second crash site. And allegedly, bodies were found there after the military changed its story. Roswell slowly became quiet again. Newspapers moved on. The public forgot, and for decades, the Roswell incident faded into history. But behind the silence, rumors continued spreading. Locals whispered about military threats, witness intimidation, secret transport trucks moving through the desert at night, and mysterious officers warning civilians to stay silent. Some witnesses later claimed they were threatened by military personnel. Others refused to speak publicly for years because they feared consequences. The mystery refused to die. And in the late 1970s, Roswell would suddenly return to the spotlight again, bigger than ever before. For decades, the Roswell incident remained buried beneath silence. The military claimed the wreckage came from a weather balloon. Most people accepted the explanation, but years later, new witnesses began speaking publicly, and their stories would transform Roswell from a forgotten newspaper headline into the world's most famous UFO mystery. In the late 1970s, a nuclear physicist and UFO researcher named Stanton Friedman interviewed former Major Jesse Marcel. This interview changed everything. Marcel claimed the material he recovered in 1947 was not a weather balloon. According to him, the debris had strange properties unlike anything he had ever encountered. He described incredibly thin metallic material that could not be damaged easily, no burn marks, no normal breaking patterns, and strange beam-like pieces containing unusual symbols. Marcel later suggested the military forced him to stay quiet. For UFO researchers, this was explosive, because Marcel was not an ordinary witness. He was the intelligence officer directly connected to the original investigation. And now, decades later, he appeared to be saying the official story was false. Suddenly, Roswell was alive again. Books were written, television documentaries appeared, and thousands of people began asking the same terrifying question. What was the government hiding? As more witnesses came forward, a disturbing new theory began spreading. Some claimed there were actually two crash sites. The first location contained scattered debris, but according to certain witnesses, the second site was far more shocking. This was where alleged bodies were discovered. Several individuals later claimed they heard stories about small humanoid beings recovered from the desert. Descriptions varied slightly, but many stories sounded similar. Small bodies, large heads, thin arms, dark eyes. Some witnesses claimed military trucks secretly transported bodies away during the night. Others claimed entire areas were sealed off by armed soldiers. But there was one major problem. Very little physical evidence existed. Most stories appeared decades after the original event. Critics argued memories could become distorted over time. Still, the similarities between many witness testimonies kept the mystery alive. And then, another witness made headlines. One of the most controversial Roswell witnesses was a mortician named Glenn Dennis. Dennis claimed that shortly after the crash, the military contacted his funeral home asking unusual questions. According to Dennis, officials wanted to know about small, airtight, child-sized coffins. He also claimed a nurse from the military hospital described seeing strange, non-human bodies with oversized heads and unusual features. Dennis later said the nurse appeared deeply disturbed. But after speaking with him, she allegedly disappeared. Some researchers believed Dennis was telling the truth. Others accused him of exaggeration or changing details over time. Even today, his testimony remains highly debated. But every new witness added fuel to the growing conspiracy, and Roswell slowly transformed into something much larger than a single crash story. It became a symbol of government secrecy itself. To understand why the military may have hidden information, we must return to the Cold War. By 1947, America feared Soviet espionage more than anything. Secret surveillance projects were already operating in total secrecy. One of them was so classified, almost nobody knew it existed. Its name was Project Mogul. In the 1990s, the U.S. government released reports attempting to finally explain Roswell. According to officials, the debris came from a top-secret military project called Project Mogul. Project Mogul used high-altitude balloons equipped with sensitive microphones. Their mission was extremely important: detect Soviet nuclear tests. Remember, this was the beginning of the nuclear arms race. The U.S. desperately needed ways to monitor enemy activity. According to government reports, the balloon equipment included unusual materials, reflective foil, sticks, rubber components, and radar targets. Officials argued this perfectly matched the debris found by rancher William Brazel. The military claimed secrecy caused confusion. Because Project Mogul was classified, officers could not explain the truth publicly in 1947. So the story became chaotic. First flying saucer, then weather balloon, finally decades later, Project Mogul. For skeptics, this explanation solved the mystery. But believers were not convinced, because many witnesses insisted the debris was far stranger than balloon materials. And others still claimed bodies were recovered, something the Mogul explanation could not fully explain. Years later, the government attempted another explanation. Officials suggested that stories about alien bodies may have come from military test dummies used in later experiments. These human-like dummies were dropped from aircraft during the 1950s to test parachutes and survival systems. The military believed people may have mixed memories from different events together over time, but critics immediately pointed out a problem. Roswell happened in 1947. The dummy experiments happened years later, so how could witnesses confuse events separated by nearly a decade? The debate only became more intense. And by the 1990s, Roswell had become a worldwide phenomenon. Movies, TV shows, books, and conspiracy theories exploded across popular culture. The Roswell mystery spread far beyond New Mexico. Hollywood embraced the story completely. Alien crash stories became a massive part of entertainment. Films, documentaries, and TV series inspired millions. Shows like The X-Files turned government UFO conspiracies into global obsessions. Suddenly, people everywhere questioned authority. Could governments really hide something this enormous? Could humanity already know about extraterrestrial life? Roswell became more than just a mystery. It became a modern legend. And even today, the name Roswell instantly makes people think of aliens. But perhaps the strangest part of the entire story is that after nearly 80 years, people are still uncovering new documents, interviews, and theories. And some researchers believe the truth may still be hidden inside classified files. One question continues haunting investigators. If Roswell truly involved alien technology, where is the evidence? No confirmed spacecraft, no verified alien bodies, no publicly proven extraterrestrial materials. Believers argue the government successfully hid everything. Skeptics argue there was never anything alien to begin with. And somewhere between those two possibilities lies one of the greatest mysteries of the modern world. Because despite all the debates, Roswell still refuses to disappear. The official explanation says the debris recovered near Roswell came from a classified military balloon project. But many witnesses disagreed. Some claimed the wreckage was not made from ordinary materials. Others insisted bodies were secretly recovered. And over time, Roswell became connected to an even larger mystery: a secret world of hidden bases, classified technology, and alleged government programs studying UFOs. Now, the story enters its darkest chapter. As UFO theories spread across America, another mysterious location entered the spotlight: Area 51. Hidden deep within the Nevada desert, Area 51 became one of the most secretive military facilities on Earth. Officially, the base was used for testing experimental aircraft. But for decades, rumors claimed something far stranger was happening there. People believed alien spacecraft recovered from Roswell were transported to Area 51 for study. Some theories claimed scientists attempted to reverse engineer alien technology. Others believed the U.S. government secretly communicated with extraterrestrials. No verified evidence ever confirmed these claims. But the secrecy surrounding Area 51 only made public suspicion stronger, especially because the government denied the base even existed for many years. And when authorities finally acknowledged it publicly, the mystery only grew deeper. In 1989, a man named Bob Lazar appeared on television with shocking allegations. Lazar claimed he worked at a secret facility near Area 51 called S4. According to him, the government possessed multiple alien spacecraft. He claimed scientists were studying advanced propulsion systems powered by an unknown element. Lazar described impossible technology, gravity manipulation, silent flight, extreme acceleration. He also claimed one craft resembled the classic flying saucer shape reported in UFO sightings. Supporters believed Lazar finally exposed the truth. Critics accused him of fabricating the entire story. Questions about his education and employment history created major controversy. Yet despite decades of criticism, Bob Lazar remains one of the most famous figures in UFO history, and many believers think Roswell was the beginning of everything he described. During the 1980s, another explosive conspiracy emerged. Researchers claimed mysterious classified documents had been leaked anonymously. These papers referred to a secret group called Majestic 12, often shortened to MJ-12. According to the documents, MJ-12 was allegedly created by President Harry S. Truman after the Roswell crash. Its mission? Recover and study alien technology in total secrecy. The documents described crashed saucers, non-human bodies, and secret scientific investigations. For UFO believers, this was massive evidence. But many experts argued the documents were fake. Investigators found inconsistencies in formatting, language, and dates. Even today, the MJ-12 documents remain highly controversial. Some researchers insist they are genuine leaked files. Others call them one of the greatest hoaxes in UFO history. But regardless of authenticity, the idea of a hidden organization secretly managing alien encounters became deeply embedded in public imagination. Over the years, multiple former military personnel allegedly made shocking confessions before dying. Some claimed Roswell truly involved extraterrestrial technology. Others said they witnessed secret operations connected to recovered wreckage. These stories spread rapidly through documentaries and books. But once again, proof remained difficult to verify. Skeptics argued memories can change over time, especially after decades of exposure to media, rumors, and conspiracy theories. Still, the emotional nature of many testimonies convinced countless people that witnesses believed what they were saying, and one disturbing pattern kept appearing repeatedly: fear. Many witnesses claimed they stayed silent because they feared military threats or public ridicule. Whether true or not, the silence surrounding Roswell became part of the mystery itself. For decades, governments around the world dismissed UFO reports completely. But recently, something changed. Military videos showing unidentified aerial phenomena, now often called UAPs, were officially acknowledged by the United States Department of Defense. Pilots described objects performing maneuvers beyond known aircraft capabilities. The topic suddenly became serious again. Governments began investigating unexplained aerial sightings openly. This dramatic shift caused many people to revisit Roswell. Because if unidentified objects truly exist in modern military encounters, then perhaps earlier reports deserve another look too. Roswell returned to public discussion once again, not as an old forgotten legend, but as a mystery potentially connected to ongoing investigations. As Roswell became famous worldwide, facts and fiction started blending together. Some stories were likely exaggerated. Others may have been invented completely. Fake photographs, false witnesses, and sensational TV specials complicated the truth. This created a major problem for investigators. Separating genuine testimony from entertainment became extremely difficult, and because the story evolved over decades, new details were constantly added. Some people believe Roswell became too mythologized to ever solve properly. Others argue the confusion itself may have helped hide the truth. After all, if enough false information spreads, real evidence becomes harder to identify. Not every alternative theory involves extraterrestrials. Some researchers believe Roswell may have involved advanced experimental technology, secret aircraft, spy devices, or classified Cold War surveillance systems. Others suggest psychological operations or misinformation campaigns could explain the strange events. There are even theories claiming the government intentionally encouraged alien rumors to distract from secret military programs. And honestly, during the Cold War, that possibility cannot be ignored, because governments often protected classified projects at any cost. The real answer may be far stranger, or far simpler, than people imagine. Nearly 80 years later, Roswell remains one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. No explanation has convinced everyone. Believers see evidence of the greatest cover-up in human history. Skeptics see misunderstanding, exaggeration, and conspiracy culture. And somewhere in between lies a story that changed popular culture forever. Because whether aliens crashed in New Mexico or not, Roswell permanently altered how humanity thinks about the unknown. People started asking bigger questions. Are we alone? What secrets do governments keep? And how much truth is hidden behind classified walls? But before we reach the final conclusion, there is one last question we must answer. What does the evidence actually tell us? And after everything, what is the most likely explanation for Roswell? Before diving into theories, let's separate confirmed facts from speculation. Here is what history clearly shows. In July 1947, unusual debris was discovered near Roswell. Military personnel from the Roswell Army Airfield investigated the site. The military initially released a statement mentioning a flying disc. Hours later, that explanation changed to a weather balloon. That sudden reversal became the foundation of the entire mystery. These events are historically documented, but beyond those confirmed facts, the debate begins, because almost everything else depends on testimony, interpretation, and belief. People who believe Roswell-involved extraterrestrial technology usually focus on one major question. Why would trained military intelligence officers mistakenly identify a weather balloon as a flying saucer? Major Jesse Marcel was experienced in recognizing aircraft materials and military equipment. Supporters argue that someone with his background would not easily confuse ordinary debris with something extraordinary. Believers also point toward witness intimidation claims. Over the years, multiple individuals described military threats, secrecy, and unusual activity around the crash area. Then there are the body recovery stories. Even though physical evidence has never been confirmed publicly, many people believe the consistency of certain witness accounts is difficult to ignore. For believers, Roswell represents evidence that governments may hide information from the public when national security is involved. And if extraterrestrial life were truly discovered in 1947, official secrecy would likely be extreme. Skeptics approach Roswell very differently. They argue there is still no verified evidence proving alien involvement, no confirmed spacecraft, no scientifically verified extraterrestrial material, no authenticated alien bodies. Most dramatic claims emerged decades after the original incident. Critics say human memory changes over time, especially when influenced by media, documentaries, books, and conspiracy theories. Skeptics also argue that Cold War secrecy explains much of the confusion. The government later revealed Project Mogul, a secret balloon program designed to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Because the project was classified, officials could not openly discuss it in 1947. This may explain why the military gave confusing public statements. According to this explanation, Roswell was not an alien crash. It was a secret military operation accidentally exposed to the public. Even if Roswell never involved aliens, the story became powerful for another reason: timing. Think about the world of 1947. The Cold War had begun, nuclear fear was growing, technology was advancing rapidly, and humanity had just entered the modern age of aviation and rockets. People suddenly realized the sky itself could contain unknown threats. At the same time, Roswell arrived at the perfect moment to become legendary. It mixed fear, mystery, government secrecy, and the possibility that humanity was not alone. That combination was unforgettable. The Roswell story influenced generations of entertainment and conspiracy theories. Movies about alien crashes became global hits. Television series explored secret government programs and hidden extraterrestrial encounters. Shows like The X-Files helped transform UFO conspiracies into mainstream culture. Even today, countless documentaries, podcasts, and online communities continue investigating Roswell. And in many ways, Roswell created the modern image of alien cover-ups. Before Roswell, UFO stories were rare curiosities. After Roswell, they became part of global culture. Now let's consider the question that continues haunting humanity. What if, just what if, Roswell truly involved something not from Earth? The discovery of extraterrestrial life would completely change civilization forever. Religion, science, politics, human identity itself, everything would change overnight. Some believe governments would hide such information to prevent panic. Others argue the truth could never remain secret for decades. And honestly, both arguments raise important questions. Because history has shown governments are capable of extreme secrecy, but history also shows that enormous conspiracies are difficult to hide permanently. This is why Roswell remains unsolved. Both sides contain unanswered questions. So after decades of investigation, what is the most likely explanation? Based on publicly available evidence, many historians believe Roswell probably involved classified Cold War technology rather than extraterrestrials. The Project Mogul explanation aligns with the military secrecy of that era. and there is still no publicly verified proof of alien life connected to the crash. However, the strange behavior of the military, the changing explanations, and the witness testimonies continue fueling suspicion, which means the mystery may never fully disappear, because Roswell is no longer just about debris in the desert. It represents humanity's fascination with the unknown. Maybe Roswell was an alien crash. Maybe it was a top-secret military experiment. Or maybe the truth exists somewhere in between. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery behind the Roswell incident, make sure to subscribe to Shadow UFO for more shocking UFO investigations, classified secrets, alien theories, and unexplained mysteries from around the world. Don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next mystery.